seeing your Instagram profile when I was living in Mérida a few years ago. And it just like, one of those things where it passes your feed as you're scrolling and you're like, oh, this is interesting. Because I think at the time that it was a lot of underwater photography, but it was naked.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful. And I just thought, this is different and very interesting. So how did you're a photographer. You started in photography, but not necessarily underwater? Or how did you get started?
So since I was, I don't know, maybe 15, like I've always like loved photography in general. And I always had a camera with me everywhere I went. Like I was traveling a lot. And well, I was pretty obsessed with photography. Like I loved taking photos of everything. It was mainly landscapes. And also I wanted to be in the landscapes as well. So I was like stopping everyone to asking them to take a photo of me. And yeah, in general, photography was a part of my life since I have memories almost. And then in 2019, I moved to Mexico and I started freediving. Like after a month I moved here, I didn't know anything about freediving. I went to Cenote for the first time and I tried freediving with a friend of mine. I met him and he was like, oh, I have to introduce you to this sport because I'm pretty sure you will love it. You have to try. And I tried out and I loved it. So that's how I started with freediving. And after a year, I started to think about like, what if I take photography like underwater? And I started thinking about, how I can bring those two passions together. But at the beginning, I was very, very scared to do it. Like in Mérida, that was 2019 when I started freediving. And it was, 2020, like end of 2020, when I started thinking about what if I buy a case for my camera and I start shooting underwater. But the equipment is pretty expensive. So at the beginning, I was like, how can I justify like the purchase of something that is very expensive? What am I going to do afterwards? What if I'm not good enough? What if the photos are not like very good quality? But also like at the same time, there weren't so many people in Mérida doing that. So I was like, this could be my thing, And I was like, every time I was thinking about it, I was like crying of happiness because I was like, I feel that this is my thing, Yeah. But then also your brain, like even when you know that this is what you want, then your brain is like, no, this is a lot of money, don't do it, it's not going to work. But I was very like comfortable underwater. So I was like, I'm ready to also, because to do underwater photography, you need to be very comfortable in the water and you need to be a good freediver. Like it's not just like taking a camera and okay, let's try, because you need to be able to hold your breath, swim, freedive, taking photo, and also to guide other people, because like you're the photographer, but you also have to tell the model how like they need to move underwater to look pretty, because at the end of the day, you want to have good photos. So it's not easy to combine everything together. And if it's not easy to do it underwater, like above water, imagine to bring everything underwater.
Yeah.
But the moment where like everything started, it was January 2021, and Alberto, my husband, he was doing a tour for a couple who came from the States to get married in Yucatan, and they wanted to have an underwater photo shoot. But at that time, I didn't have a camera, I didn't have any experience, so of course I couldn't do it. So we hired a different photographer to do it. But like a few weeks before, this photographer canceled. And he was like, oh, I'm not going to be in Mérida those days, so I'm not going to be able to do the photo shoot. But we already sold the photo shoot to the clients. And Alberto was like, you know what? You're going to have to buy your case and do the photo shoot yourself. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, this is something I've never done before. Like, I can't just like buy an underwater case and just do the photo shoot. And he was like, yeah, but like the clients already paid. Basically, like they are paying for your case, so find a way to do it. I'm like, okay. So I bought the case. I went to the water like a week before to shoot my sister. She was here. And that was my first ever photo shoot without me being a real underwater photographer. But it was amazing, and it was like super fun. The photo like turned out like very well for being my first underwater photo shoot. Everyone was very happy. Like I felt super comfortable in the water. I knew exactly how to like tell them, okay, you pose like this, and you like I don't know, it was amazing. And that's how I started basically.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
thinking about today the risks that we sometimes have to take that don't make sense, that they seem illogical, that they're scary. And those are usually like, think about it. Have you ever played Monopoly?
Yeah.
And when I played Monopoly, I used to win so hard because I would go broke and everyone's like, "Oh, that's a bad decision. Oh, you're going to lose." Because I would just start buying everything. I would spend all my money. And then halfway through the game, everyone else is going broke because they're all paying me because I've got the hotels. But the point of that is, you know, at first, it doesn't seem responsible. It doesn't seem like, you know, oh, that's a lot of money. What do you have to back up your experience? Like, you don't even know, you haven't done that before. All these doubts and fears come creeping in. But to be able to take that risk, or sometimes you don't take the risk and life just does what it did to you. And it's like, okay, you're not ready to take the risk. Here we go. He canceled. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm so grateful that it happened because it was like the push I needed. And at that point, I was like, okay, well, I don't have a lot to lose, so just like go for it. And it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes you just wait for the perfect moment and then you find like so many excuses not to start. And yeah, that was my sign and my opportunity to do it.
Definitely. And when you were saying that you can't just, you know, let's say you're a photographer and you have a camera and you're like, yeah, I'm going to start doing underwater photography, but you don't know how to swim underwater or you don't know how to free dive. Because I remember when I was a kid and we used to have those disposable cameras that could go underwater, and then you would take a photo underwater and the photo always comes out like, you know, because we're not used to being, you know, being photographed under there. So I can imagine that it's very it's an art to be able to grab a really good shot.
Yeah. Also, I mean, the fact that I'm a freediving instructor like helps a lot because like I know how to teach freediving, so I can combine these two things, you know. And also like my husband, he's also a freediving instructor, so when I shoot, I always go with him because safety is like also very, very important, like for me, but also for the model, you know, like you need to be like comfortable underwater and you need to be safe. So when you know that you can also push yourself a little bit, like in a good way, because you know that like you have someone who is experienced and they know what they're doing, you know. So this is also very, very important. And sometimes like people think that you need to be like an experienced freediver to have good photos. But I was super, super surprised. Like I have my, I started like after this photo shoot, I put my experience on Airbnb, and I had so many people like not freedivers, just like normal people. They saw the photos, they wanted to have a different experience. And at the beginning, I was always like a little bit nervous because of course you have to like, at the end of the day, you have to give them some photos, you know, and nice photos. So you never know how it's going to be and how the photos are going to turn out. So at the beginning, you're always a little bit nervous. And I had amazing models. Like you have no idea, like some of them even better than me after like modeling for 5 years underwater and try different poses. And I was always super impressed on how, like after the beginning, like when they get comfortable, like with you, with the water, with the space, with the environment, I don't know, they let go and magic happens. It's incredible. And so it's possible for everyone to just like, once you understand what you need and how you need to move underwater, like, and especially how to like relax your face and how to relax before you actually dive in, and like the movements you want to create underwater, then like it's possible, even if you're not an experienced freediver. But of course, it takes a little bit of time to guide the person through it, like the movement, the poses. And
do you do some training beforehand, like outside of the water?
It's not really a training. Like usually I explain them like what I look for underwater. But like outside of the water is pretty brief. Like it's not super long because I want to have more time in the water. So usually like the first dives are like very shallow and just like below the surface. So I have like noodles to help you float, because also in cenotes like you don't have salt water, so you're not floating that much. So at the beginning, like the first step is to get used to your buoyancy, to understand like if you exhale a little bit, you're not like very buoyant, because like at the sea, like the 𝗕𝗨𝗧𝗥𝗡𝗘𝗧𝗥 fall that you were talking about is because you're very buoyant. So like when you go down, like basically you're coming back up pretty quickly. So like you have to like basically fight the buoyancy to be underwater a little bit, and then you think that when you inhale, you have to like puff your cheek to have like enough air to hold your breath. But when people realize this is not what you need to do and you can do this in a more elegant way, then like they try a couple of times and then they get more comfortable to try other poses. So like I have my sequences of like exercise that I tell them to do. Okay, now do this, breathe like that, try this and exhale a little bit. And then once they feel comfortable with these first steps, then we try and do like a swimming. Because also depending on the kind of photos they want, if it's naked, like I love naked. Like naked is my go-to choice. And also we are lucky because we go to cenotes that are not very popular. So even me, without telling them, like it was crazy because from the Airbnb experience, most of my clients were women, and basically most of them, they asked me to do naked photos without me having like naked photos on Airbnb or without me asking them to do it. And it was amazing. Like they were like, "Oh, do you mind if I do some photos naked?" And I'm like, for me, like go for it, because it's like something very natural. It looks super artistic, and it's also a beautiful experience for them, like to swim naked. And it's also a way for me to show them how beautiful they are, just like swimming naked in a cenote with nobody around. And it creates a very good connection with them. And then I left this idea on the side a little bit, but when I was doing this shooting, that it was more frequent before I started with Alma Libre, I wanted to start this project of just like shooting women underwater naked to help them like feel even more beautiful. Because it was a very nice feeling for me to show them the photos and they didn't know they were capable to do it. Yeah.
That's kind of where you resurfaced, because I interviewed Chelsea from Radiate Retreats.
Wow, yeah.
And then I saw she posted, "We're going to be doing free diving as part of the next retreat." And I was like, "Oh my God." And so that's when I reached out to you. But she was telling me how part of her retreats is doing a naked photo shoot, and I thought, wow, interesting. And just, the empowerment, and it is beautiful. I mean, looking at your photos, I definitely felt inspired to like, oh my God, I want that too, because you look like a magical underwater creature. It looks, yeah. So I saw a video on your website of you getting engaged under the water in a cenote, which I thought was one of the most amazing things I had ever seen.
Thank you.
And you guys were free diving the whole time, right? Like you had no oxygen tanks.
No.
That's insane.
Yeah.
How long are you holding your breath under there?
So in freediving, there are like different disciplines. When you talk about time, usually statics is not when you're like moving you just like hold your breath floating on the surface. And that I can do it for like 4.5 minutes. But when I'm swimming, then it's different. Like usually when you're swimming down, like the dives are not so long. It's like around 2 minutes. But I would say that most of the time, even when I take photos and stuff, I would say it's around like 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. So I don't remember exactly that dive, how long it was. It was at a depth of 12 meters. So yeah, this is a very special cenote for us because that's where we actually met. And then we decided to go camping a few months later, and then we decided to be a couple. So that cenote was already very special for us. And after a year, when he decided to propose, like he put the ring under some rocks in the cenote the day before. And then the next day, he invited some friends, and he told me that we were going to do a photo shoot. And so there was our friend, because at that time, I didn't have my underwater camera yet. So we were like mainly modeling with a friend who was the photographer. So he told me, yeah, we're going to have this photo shoot. You're going to wear this dress. I'm going to wear this. And yeah, we're going to go down to the dune and we're going to pose there. And then we went down. And when I was swimming down, I saw our names on the rock. Like he carved our names on the rock, and then he moved the rock and he gave me the ring.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it
so
was
original.
amazing. Yeah.
Have you guys gotten married yet?
Yeah.
Oh,
In
wow,
February, it's going to be 4
congratulations.
years. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That was
Yeah,
a while
4
ago.
years already. Yeah, it was 2021. Yeah, April 2021.
Nice.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes, it does. Sometimes too fast.
Yeah,
Sometimes
too
you just look
fast.
back, you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, just slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
So now you and your husband have Alma Libre, and you
Yeah.
host retreats also.
Yeah.
And are
Yeah,
the
we
retreats
start-
like, yeah, tell me.
Yeah,
tell-
sorry. Yeah, okay. So, last year, we decided to, because like even before Alma Libre, we were doing like similar things, but a little bit separate. And after a while, we realized that we can combine our things, like everything we're good at, and we can do it together. Like we don't need to do this for other people. We can just be me and you and create like whatever we want to create, you know? So yeah, that's how Alma Libre came out. I became also a freediving instructor last year. And yeah, so we basically focus on freediving courses, but mainly freediving experiences and yeah, freediving retreats. Like it's not like 100% about freediving. It's more like an experience around water, and you can be like either freediving or just like enjoying the water in like on a different level. Like you don't need to be an experienced freediver to join our retreats. But yeah, it's all about being in the water, connect with nature, try something different. We have a cenote camp experience, which is 3 days and 2 nights. And what we do, we camp next to a cenote for 2 nights, and we swim at night naked. They don't have to, but like we encourage to do that because nobody's around. It's just like you and other people that you just met, and the place is amazing. Everything is dark and it's beautiful. It's very, very special. So we swim at night, we do bonfire, we spend the night under the stars, we do freediving, I take the photos. In the morning we do some breath work, sometimes we do yoga, we meditate, we stretch. We have no signal, we have no electricity, so it's like 3 very special days where you connect with nature, you connect with the group. It's amazing what happens when you don't have internet or you're not on your phone. Like it's crazy the connection you create because you completely forget about your phone. And even when you're sitting at the table, that is like something very, very normal. But nowadays, when you go and have lunch with your friends, like sometimes you always grab your phone to check, I don't know, anything, even if you don't need to. But it's just like something very normal that we're used to. But when you're out there and disconnected from the world, it's just like, I don't know, you bond with each other very well. So this is one of our bestseller. And then we have other experiences. We have like a freediving retreat in Cozumel. We go to Baja California a lot to swim with like mobulas and marine life. We have Cozumel to swim with turtles, marine life, corals, to explore the coral reef, and basically any freediving retreat. We work a lot with freediving schools, and they bring their clients, and we organize everything. Basically, it's very personalized. So if you tell me, okay, I want to do a lot of like spearfishing, we organize spearfishing. If you want to do like a lot of yoga, then we combine more yoga. So it's like very, we organize it according to your needs.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And very niche, like very, very particular.
Yeah.
Have you ever had people that are afraid of the water?
Yes. We just had one that like when we start our retreats, we always ask them to be comfortable in the water. Sometimes people, they feel they're more comfortable than what they really are. Like we had this guy from India, he lives in the States, and he didn't know how to wear a mask properly on the first day. And he wasn't very comfortable. But from the day one, like there was a very big improvement. So day one was like a little bit tough on him, but he was like super brave because he kept going, he kept trying, and he was very good at following our directions. So from day 1 to day 5, there was like a very big difference. So even in freediving, when someone like sign up for a course, you can tell they're not very comfortable underwater. But then when you understand how to guide them, then it's like, it's possible to overcome your fear. Like it's not easy. Yeah. There is like a lot of crying sometimes, and like a lot of like let go. But yeah.
Wow, a lot of crying?
Yeah. Yeah, because like freediving, it's like an active meditation basically. Like it helps a lot to connect your mind with your body. And a lot of things can happen when you are like down there holding your breath. Like there is sometimes like this little voice like, what are you doing? You're holding your breath. You're not supposed to be down here. And like there is this little voice telling you, what are you doing? But then the other voice that is like open to explore, and you want to go down, and like you want to like push your limits a little bit. So sometimes at the beginning it's not easy to combine these two voices and to feel comfortable underwater. And sometimes it gets a little bit emotional to let go, to let go of like that voice and to really trust yourself. Especially at the beginning, I would say is 80% mental. And sometimes people realize that they're not like so ready to let like what scares you on the side. And then like that's a lot of crying. Like every situation is different. But yeah, it does happen a lot. But usually once they let go, like everything works out pretty well.
Yeah. Thinking from personal experience, I mean, we went to a cenote once that we camped with a friend.
Nice.
We did it. And my husband got into the cenote. It was really hot. Yeah. You know how it gets really hot in Mérida. So he's like, we recommend that you go and like get in the water to cool yourself off so you can sleep.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I left. And my husband just jumped in and he's floating around and it's pitch black.
Yeah.
And I was scared for him. And I'm thinking, monsters are going to come out of there. I don't know. I also think about like when we first went to Yucatan, we were learning a lot about Mayan culture and we heard stories that sometimes those places were used for sacrifices, or, you'll see the little billboards that say that all the findings that biologists and divers have found in that particular cenote. And then, I start looking and I'm like, oh, there's bones in there. Your mind starts just running away with all this crazy stuff. And yeah, I just wonder, have you never felt that fear at all? What goes through your mind?
I wouldn't. So yeah, when it's a new cenote, like I was never like afraid, but I do feel the energy of the place. Like especially if it's a place I don't know, I get a little bit intimidated. Like I wouldn't, like I don't feel scared, but I feel like a lot of respect, and I feel like, okay, I need to, I don't know, be careful with this place. I need to like get comfortable in the space before. Also, like every cenote is different. Like every cenote has like a different energy, and like the cenotes I am familiar with, even if it's a night or like, I don't know, I feel very welcome in the space, in the cenote and in the water, and I'm not scared or afraid. But yeah, when it's a new cenote, I have to like understand it first before I can feel comfortable in. But yeah, for example, at night, by myself, I don't think I will go down to swim by myself. Like my husband, Alberto, he did it just himself. Like when I'm with other people, I feel okay because I feel that it's like, okay, like we are in a group. I don't know, the energy feels different because like you're sharing it with somebody else. But if it was just me being in the water by myself, then probably, yes, I will feel a little bit scared. But it's magical. Like it's very, very special. Once you understand that there is nothing, like for example, in the sea, I will be very scared. But like in the cenote, there is actually like, you feel the energy, but when you think about it, there is nothing that can harm you, Like in the sea, you can, like you have animals, you have things, Like in the cenotes, there is nothing. Like it's like a big pool, But of course, like your mind, and then the fact that it's like a sacred space, and like a lot of things happen in the past, and in your mind, like you feel it, like you feel that it's like a very special place. But to me, it's more like a hug, or like a place that is like protecting you in a way. But I understand that for some people can be very intimidated. Also, it feels like that because I go to a cenote like 4 times a week, 5 times a week. So for me, it's like my second home. So like I have this connection with these places because like I know them pretty well. For someone who is like not there so often, I can understand that it's more, scary.
And maybe it's a past life thing, like, I don't know, maybe I drowned in another life. I believe in those things. You never know, because sometimes people have traumas that they don't know. Like I have 100%. No idea why I'm afraid of this. But I imagine how much freedom, like real freedom, what it must feel like to lie back in a cenote at night when it's dark, and you look up because it's open. So you look up at the stars that's also dark, and you're just like sensory deprivation. No, it's like the ultimate, releasing the fear, releasing your body. Just, I would love to experience that. That sounds so magical.
And sometimes we get the full moon. And when you have full moon, like it gets a little bit brighter, which is a different experience. But then you're down there like floating, and then you see like the light of the moon, and then you see like, you don't have the, like, you still get some light reflection like underwater. It's not like the light beam that you usually get from the sun, because the light is not that strong. But you do get like some light underwater from the moon. And that's like also very, very magical. It's incredible.
Have you taken underwater photos at night?
We tried, but with you need a lamp because otherwise it's too dark. So I mean it's interesting, but then it's like it's a different style, and then you use like artificial light. So
Okay.
I prefer to shoot with natural light, but yeah, there's like a personal preference. It's a different style.
Okay. So you mentioned the equipment. What kind of equipment do you need? Is it just like the case to hold your camera?
Yeah. So first of all, you need a camera. I have it here, which is just like a normal camera. Like you can, basically you can use any camera underwater. Like as long as you have a case to protect your camera, you can use it. And then this is the case that you use to put your camera inside. So this is basically just like, a case that makes your camera waterproof. And then you have like all the, like these little things to move your things underwater. So this is like, of course, number one. And then you want to have a wetsuit. Otherwise, I mean, at least in the cenotes, like you need to have a wetsuit. Otherwise, it's a little bit cold. I mean, the water temperature is not super cold, but usually sessions are a little bit long. So I'm more comfortable with a wetsuit. And then, of course, mask and snorkel and fins. Because without fins, it's very hard to like move the camera around and dive down. So this is like,
wow.
What you
That
need
thing
as
looks legit.
This one,
Yeah.
I mean,
And what is the fluffy thing in the front?
Oh no, this is just like the cover of the. This is like a dome, so this is just like the protection of the dome.
Oh, wow.
This is the dome, and then you put the camera inside, and then you shoot. And usually this one here floats because like it gets full of air. So then here I have like some little weights to make it more heavy. But I don't want this to be negative. Like I don't want this to like sink down. So basically it stays at the surface and it floats a little bit.
That's really cool. It looks expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive. I mean, this is like one of the this is the first case that you can find, like price level, and then it goes like up from there. But some cases are like 3 times more expensive than the camera. So every time like I go into the water, I'm like, okay, like I'm very like you need to be careful and you want to make sure that everything is working, because the equipment is quite expensive. So you need to be very careful. I didn't have any accident since I started, so hopefully it stays like that.
Yes. So speaking of taking care of things, do you have like a special way that you, like when you're working with someone that maybe hasn't been to a cenote before, do you have a special way of sharing how to behave in the cenote, things to do, not to do, like that?
Yeah, in general, you want to be very respectful. Like I don't like, even with just like screaming or just like be very noisy. Like, I mean, it's not mandatory, but I don't like people who like go to the cenote and they start drinking, they leave rubbish there. They're like very unrespectful. This is like, of course, a big no. So first of all, I try to make them understand how special the place is. And like basically like you're a visitor. So, I mean, you don't have to like specifically like ask for permission, but in a way, yes, like I don't know if you have heard of Los Aluches. Yeah. So, they're like, in mythology, like they are basically the guardians of nature and the cenotes. So they're like these little creatures. They look like, like little elves, and they protect these places. And if you're not very respectful, they can be a little bit mean to you. Like I've never had any experience with them, like in person, but I know friends that had like, usually they whistle a lot, or they like usually also throw rocks to you. So if you're like very disrespectful, or if you're like not behaving, they can be pretty mean to you. So in a way, like when I go to a cenote, I like to ask for permission to let them know that I'm not causing any harm to the place. I'm just like visiting, and I just want to appreciate the beauty. People can believe it or not, but this is what I share with them. Then you don't want to have repellent on you, or like body lotion or makeup or anything like that, because the environment is very fragile, the ecosystem. So you don't want to bring any product that can harm the cenote. You don't want to touch the roots of the trees. And if there are like stalagmites or stalactites, and some of them are still alive, so if you see that they're wet, like you don't want to touch them because they're still growing. So yeah, this would be the main things: not to touch anything and just like respect the environment.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't know about the 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗧 throwing rocks at you.
Yeah.
I always went in there with like deep respect, because I am very sensitive to energy, and there's been times when I'll just go to one and I'm like, whoa, I don't know what happened here, but respect.
You can feel
respect.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. It's very dense, no? The energy, it almost commands that you like humble yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, and this is what we want to. And some people, they feel it straight away. Some people, like, you need to, also let them know, like, look, like, you need to calm down. Like, some people can be like, I have times where, I told people, like, can you please just, like, be quiet, stop screaming, or, like, you are not, this is I don't know, the experience is very different when you have, like, someone super loud, or, like, jumping, or, like, creating not a nice vibe, and I'm not embarrassed in telling them, you know what, like, please behave. But the energy, it's very nice. And you can feel it for sure.
And do you see a lot of 𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗏, or I don't know how you would say it in English? The birds with the long tail.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, especially during spring. Like April, March, that will be the high season for the 𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗏, and it's crazy. I love it. Yeah.
They're so beautiful. Their colors.
So beautiful.
And I love, they always come at the right time to let you know that there is no time, like a reminder. It's just like they're.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. And something like my grandfather, he passed away in April. And after he passed away, like, I saw so many 𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗏, like, that same week, like, I was at the cenote, and to me, it was like, oh, look, my grandfather, like, he's here to say hi. So, like, now every time that I see them, I think about him all the time. So it's like something, very nice. So when I see them,
beautiful.
they come say hi. Yeah, because it was like exactly in the high season. So yeah, it's very nice. They're very special birds. I like them.
Me too. And I'm sorry about your grandfather.
Yeah,
but I'm glad he's a 𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗏 now. Or many
he's everywhere.
𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗏s.
He's everywhere. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so can you share a story about a technical challenge or a creative challenge during a photo shoot that you did underwater?
Sure. Well, there are some things that repeat in the photo shoots. When it's a couple photo shoot, it's pretty tough, especially when someone is very good and the other person is not that good. Like some couple shootings, like when it's a couple, sometimes like the girl is like super aesthetic and like they look gorgeous, and then the guy is like really like not able to relax the face, and you're like, what am I gonna do? Like, because they want couple photos, so you need to, like, when it's just one person, is like, well, it's okay, it's you, if this is the photo you're gonna have, it doesn't matter. But when it's just like a couple, like, you need to be creative and understand, okay, like, what can we do? So in some couple photo shoots, I had to get creative, and it was like the guy hugging the girl, but the guy was basically like, I could see just like the back, but then like the face of the lady. And so yeah, you need to be creative and see which pose can work to make them look good. So yeah, when it's a couple, usually it's not easy. Like the level of like, yeah, it gets tough. Then something that happens that can be like a big I mean, not a big problem, but that can like complicate things is when the light is not there. Because like the cenotes are like a pretty like challenging place to shoot in, because you have a place with a lot of light and like next to it is very, very dark. Like you have the extremes, like a lot of light and a lot of darkness. So it's also hard to like position your subject in a way that like looks good with the framing, the lighting and everything. But you do need the light to get special shots, because like usually the light is what is selling your photos and what it makes it even better, So when it gets cloudy or like, yeah, the light is not there anymore, it's like, okay. So it's the same thing, like you need to get creative. You can still get amazing shots. Like some of my favorite photos are like without the light, because when the light is not there, you can also get like very nice reflections when you get very close to the surface. So you can play with like reflections and stuff, and you get more moody kind of photos. But for example, before, the camera I had wasn't that good in low light. That's why also I had to like upgrade my equipment to be able to have a camera that works better when there is no light. Because when there is no light, since I'm not using any like underwater lamp or anything, like the quality of the photo, if the light is not there, it's very different. And now I had to like, change my equipment to be able to overcome this like issue that I had with my previous camera. So yeah, I think it would be lack of light, and if you have a couple, to make sure they both look nice, underwater.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking like maybe you would tell the guy, yeah, just turn your face that way. Turn your face
most of the
that way.
time it was like, okay, you look that way, and then the girl look this way. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Like you need to, be creative. I mean, at the end of the day, everything works out. But yeah, in the moment you're like, okay, let's make it happen. We can do it. But
and underwater while you're
It's
holding your breath.
Yeah.
Just adds another layer of complexity.
Yeah.
Are you guys like
100%?
Okay, let's go down a minute. Okay, let's come up. Okay, let's go down. Okay, let's come up. Is that how it is?
During the photo?
Mm-hmm.
You mean? Well, it depends what we are trying to do. Yeah, most of the time they start swimming, and they have to try and hold the pose a little bit, because also they have to give me the time to go down, position, and take the photo.
Okay.
So like I need like at least 30 seconds to like be able to, which is not much. I mean, it's still like it's doable, but yeah, when they have like fabrics, for example, or dresses, that's like next level, because they're not floating like the fabrics, or like if you have a big dress, it's heavy. So sometimes like you swim down, and most of the time you don't have a mask, and then you don't realize that you're actually sinking down because the dress is heavy. And the way up, since you have no fins or anything, like it can be pretty challenging. So usually like they start swimming down, they hold the pose, and then Alberto goes down, and then Alberto brings them up.
Okay.
Because then like, depending on like how comfortable you feel, like some people, they feel very comfortable and they can just like swim up. But sometimes you see how much they struggle. So then Alberto is always like next to them, and then he grabs them, and yeah, so they rest like with the floaty, and then like we try again. But yeah, sometimes to get like one photo, it takes, I don't know, 15 dives to get like the right shot, because it's not like the movement of the dress, like the facial expression, and then maybe you go down and then the light is gone because there was a cloud. So it's a lot of effort to create one photo.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
and
then
it's a lot of
your
work.
skill, because you gotta be like ready to capture it, because you only have a small window to do it.
Yeah, especially when it's not like when it's someone who knows how to free dive, then I can just like go down in a dive and maybe take like 3 photos, and I know that those three photos are pretty good. If it's someone that is not very comfortable, I have to keep shooting. Like in one dive, I basically take, I don't know, 100 photos to be able to have a good photo, to be able to get like the natural movement. Because when it's not someone who is, either a free diver or very comfortable with the movement, it's harder to find the natural pose. So I keep shooting, and I'm pretty sure that, I can find something good, in that, like in those photos. But then at the end of the session, I finish with like 2,000 photos. And then I have to go through all of them to select them and then edit them. So of course it's more work, but then like it's nice because you can see how much the person appreciated. And they, like most of the time, like they book a photo shoot with you and they have no idea that they're going to be able to have a photo that is so good,
Yeah.
So then like everything pays off because you're like, look, like you did this, and most of the time they don't realize that they were able to do it. And most of the time the photo exceed the expectation they had. So it's very nice to be in that position as well.
I know this is very beautiful to look at, aesthetic, but is there any energetic or spiritual effect that shooting in a cenote has on a person?
Do you mean for the person or for me or
both? Does it have
both?
For you, and have you noticed anything in them?
The like for me, so like it's two different things. Like the freediving part, and then the fact that like you manage to make them beautiful through like underwater photography in an environment that sometimes I don't feel comfortable in. Like, the freediving part, like it's similar as we were saying before. Sometimes I feel, a little bit nervous or a little bit scared, and they don't even think they are able to dive like 3-4 meters and feel comfortable. And so it feels very nice to be the person who guides them through this process and to make them feel comfortable underwater. And then it's even like when I shoot, I always like to show them how the photo looks like. Like I to show them, look, so this is nice. This is like maybe you can change it. And like when they look at the photo, they're like, oh my god, it's so beautiful. This is so nice. So it's very nice to be that person who make them feel that way, So it's like, I don't know, it's very powerful. And like I love being in front of the camera, but like being behind the camera, because like I'm very specific. Like when I have something in mind, like I'm very picky with my photos, and I really want you to be here, and then I'm like, okay, let's do it again, and I can go on and on for like hours. Like I don't know, I don't get tired when I show. Like I can keep going because I don't know, it fills me with joy and it gives me so much energy. And I don't know, it's just like very nice to help them move underwater to create something very artistic and they can be very happy with. So I think it's very powerful to be able to do this, to like, take someone who, they want to have nice photos, but it's not just like the photo that you get at the end. It's like an entire experience. Like you go to a cenote where nobody's there. It's me, and then like, of course, like Alberto is there, but like, that's for safety. So like you're very comfortable because there is like a safety system, and everyone is there to work on it, like, to make it happen and to make you feel safe, to make you feel comfortable. So it's a very nice setup. And it's beautiful. And I also had people crying during the session as well. There was this girl, for example, we were trying this pose, and there are like different poses that you can try. Either like from the dark side, you go towards the light, or from the light, you go towards the dark. And we were trying the pose that like from the darkness, you were going towards the light. But for some reason, she couldn't feel comfortable with it. Like the photos, like it was good, but she didn't like really understand how she had to pose or whatever. And then we did the one from the darkness to the light. Sorry, from the light to the darkness. And somehow like the photo turned out amazing. And then she told me, like when she saw the photos, she told me that it was like a tough moment in her life. And during those hard weeks, she basically realized that she had to like embrace her darkness and not just like the light. So she was like, it makes sense. Like I couldn't go towards the light because right now I'm like going more into the darkness because I want to embrace that part in my life. So then like something so simple as a photo shoot can mean a lot for some people. Yeah. And even just like being naked in a cenote with someone that is like taking photos of you is just like a process, you know? It's like an experience of letting go and then like you are basically overcoming like so many things, you know, maybe like insecurities in your body or just like let go and do like something different that you didn't think you were able to do it. So yeah, it's like an experience. Like I don't want to sell photos, you know, I want to sell experience. Like some people, they told me, oh, you should get like your own underwater studio and you can get like a big, I don't know, 4x4 pool in your backyard. And just like boom, 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 one shoot up to the other, and that would be like so much money. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, you know. Like I mean, yeah, maybe you have like more, you can, work with lights. You can have fabrics. You can do like so many things, but this is not what I want to sell, you know. Like I want to give you an experience. It's like we go to Cenote, you feel the place, you dive down, you learn how to free dive. I don't want you to just like walk around with a photo. And this girl, the same girl about like the light and the darkness, she was telling me that she had a very nice photo shoot in Santorini that she paid probably $800. And I mean, she has like beautiful photos, but she didn't even remember what was the name of the photographer. She said that it was like half an hour photo shoot. She was like running around every single spot. Okay, this dress, you go, pose. Okay, different spot. Put the yellow dress on. Okay, let's go, boom, boom, boom. And she had like 10 photos at the end of the day. And she said, okay, the photos are very nice, but the experience wasn't that nice. I mean, I have like the photos that I wanted to have, but that's it. And I want them to like look at the photos and remember how they felt during the shoot and what they experienced, you know, and this is what I want.
Yeah. It sounds like you can have a nice photo for Instagram, or you can have an image to remember a powerful moment in your life.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to have both. Because like, photos are going to be incredible, but then you have this memory attached and you're going to be happy because it reminds you, what you experienced during that photo shoot.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's
you have
so
to
powerful.
come back to Mérida and go shooting with me.
I know. I really wanted to. When I tell you that as soon as I saw your profile, I was like, I need to do this. And just, you know, never got around to it. And then we moved. But yeah, I definitely need to do that, especially for me, because I'd be facing so many fears. Naked, in the water, in the darkness, like all the things. So yeah.
Well, whenever you have some time, come back and we're gonna do it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So all right, one last question. Is there any message that you would like to put out into the retreat community?
I think it will be just sharing whatever, like sharing your passion with the world. Like usually a retreat is about, opening your world with other people, whether it's like yoga or freediving or photography. It's just like a way to connect people and to share with them, your passion and your skills, your abilities. So yeah, what I want to tell them is to just find what they're really passionate about and share it with the world, and to create something that people can really connect with, and they can walk from the retreat place feeling like more inspired, more more open-minded, with like new connections, and with the passion of creating whatever they want.
I like that. Letting people into your world.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you so much, Francesca.
Thank you. It was amazing talking to you.
Yes.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.